time for another
Everyday Getaway.
And it's Tuesday, so we're back in the kitchen. But this time, it's a little different.
Yeah, it is. And hey, we know AI is a thing, but did AI mess or even generate our recipe for today?
It's been messing with us at work, so it might as well mess with us with the recipes.
There you go. So we looked up this recipe for a Oreo Cheesecake Bundt Cake that the picture looked absolutely delicious.
So we thought, hey, we'll give it a try.
But when we got into the recipe, it doesn't match the picture. So
We should have read the comments.
there you go. So we think that AI had a little hand in this, but we'll tell you what we think about the whole AI situation at the end.
Hey, so join us in the kitchen and let's see if we can put this cake together.
There you go. We might have to do something on our own, but we'll see what we can come up with, and then we'll let you know how it turns out at the end and what AI actually did.
Because it doesn't look good.
Yeah, it does. All right, here we go. Well, since we're not sure about the cake portion of the recipe, we're going to make this easy. We're just going to use a box cake mix. So we're going to use a devil's food cake, and then the ingredients for that, which is a cup of water, half cup of oil, and 3 eggs. And we're going to mix that up, and then we will go back to this recipe that we're kind of trying to figure out, and we'll do the cream cheese layer. All right, so we got the cake mixed up. We're going to pour half of it into a prepared bundt pan, and we just sprayed it and put some flour on it. So we're going to pour half, and I'm just going to cover the bottom really well and hope it looks like half. And then we will save this half, and we'll go on to the next step, which is a cream cheese layer. For the cheesecake layer, we're going to use an 8-ounce block of cream cheese softened, a half a cup of powdered sugar. We might need to add a little bit more. We'll see. That's what the recipe said. We'll see. And it didn't call for vanilla, but I'm going to add a splash of vanilla to it. And we'll get this in, get it mixed up.
Okay, so I'm just going to put our cream cheese layer in here. And then we'll put some Oreo cookies on top of this cream cheese layer. And then we'll put another layer of the chocolate cake on top. We'll get this on and we'll be right back. Okay, so I have 2 cups of the Oreo cookies, and I'm going to put one of the cups and just kind of sprinkle over it and save the other cup for the topping.
One layer complete. This is what we've got so far.
And now I'm going to put another layer of the chocolate cake on top. Okay, so I'm going to put a little bit of layer of the cookies on top of this, just to give it that extra little bit on the bottom. And then I'll save a little bit to put in the glaze.
The oven's set at 350, and we're putting it in. We're going to start out with the just the amount of time it calls for a bundt cake on the box, and then if we have to go extra, we will. All right, we're going to mix up the glaze of the cake while we're letting it cook. We'll have to put it in the fridge and just let it sit while the cake cools. But we've got a cup of powdered sugar, and we're going to sift it.
Now, why do you sift it?
It just lightens it up. It doesn't, gets all the clogs out of it just so that everything mixes smooth. All right, and I will tell you that the recipe that we've been working with, that we will go into a little bit more depth here at the end, it has a frosting on it, but when you look at the recipe, there is no glaze or frosting. There's nothing in the recipe that matches the picture. So we're just going to go with a regular glaze. So we've got a cup of powdered sugar. We're going to go in with a half teaspoon of vanilla, Well, we got a half already in there, and I'm gonna pour a little bit back in. There we go. And finally, a tablespoon and a half of milk. You can also use whipping cream. And then once we get it mixed up, we will make sure that it's the right consistency. All right, so we got the whip attachment on, and we will get it whipping good. We didn't end up putting the glaze in the fridge. I think it would have been too thick. So cake's not only out, but it's cooled. So we're gonna go on with some glaze. And we'll just dollop that or sprinkle that on. And then we're gonna go back with the remainder of the Oreo cookies that are crunched up and place those on top. So we'll finish getting the glaze on, then we'll get started with the cookies. All right, we're gonna go back on finally with the remainder of the cookie crumbles and place those on the top. I'm gonna kind of push them into that glaze a little bit so they stay. And then it's almost time to give her a taste. Now, I think if you like cookies and cream, this definitely has lots of chocolate sandwich cookie goodness, lots of chocolate goodness, which might not be Doug's favorite, but it's very pretty.
It looks good.
Yeah. And I think it's got lots of stuff, so hopefully we did it justice here. While you take a look at this finished bundt cake, yum yum, we invite you to join us next week as we collab with Joanne Silas and make another delicious treat.
Okay, I think it looks really good. I think the cheesecake part might cut back on the chocolate a little bit. I think the topping looks good. Let's give this a little taste here. It's not bad. It doesn't have a real strong, I didn't get a lot of big strong chocolate taste there, but the cream cheese is still a little warm, so it's really soft. The frosting on top, a little drizzle's nice. The crunch of the cookies on top really makes it a nice little bite of cake.
So I'm gonna try to get some of the cream cheese. I don't know, when we flipped it over, remember there were some cookies that we put on the top of the cake, but when you turn the bundt upside down, that puts a few cookies on the bottom along with the cookies that are in the middle and the cream cheese layer. If you get the bite, like Doug said with the cheesecake, I think the cheesecake is very strong in there. I think we will like it better when the cheesecake has completely cooled, so maybe in the fridge a bit. But I enjoy it. Now, I like chocolate. I like chocolate cake. So for me, this is a great bite. I feel like the cookies are a nice little crunchy surprise here and there. So overall, I think it's pretty good.
So what are your thoughts about the recipe?
Okay, so let's talk AI a little bit. First of all, I don't understand all of AI, and I didn't pretend to. But the picture that we first saw was a chocolate cake that had chocolate cake, cream cheese, cookies, chocolate cake, cream cheese, cookies, chocolate cake, a glaze on the top. Now, there were 3 differences in the recipe when we started looking at it up close to get ready to make it. One was the cake itself didn't have any cocoa powder in it at all. So the recipe for the cake couldn't match the cake. Secondly, the way the recipe was built, there was only cake, cheesecake, cake. There weren't 3 layers of that in the recipe. And finally, there was no glaze part of the recipe at all. So there was a picture of glaze, but no glaze. So somehow either the picture was generated by AI or the cake recipe itself, or a combination, I don't know. So we kind of took what we had and made it work. in a way that I think gave us a good cake. Even if AI messed with it a little bit, generated perhaps parts of it, we made it work, and I think it's a good cake. So hey, give us
now it's not as good as the peanut butter cupcake, and we'll link that below. That one's better, but if you like Oreos, I think you'll really like this one.
Absolutely. So, hey, thanks for being with us today. Take care of yourselves. Take care of others. Hey, and if you give us a try, let us know what you think. And, hey, if you have any idea about how AI works, let us know if you think they generated our cake recipe to begin with.
And if you haven't already, please take a couple of seconds and subscribe. It really does help us out. Share out this video. We really do appreciate it.
All right. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye.